What's up, guys? As I start this video, I want to salute and congratulate Josh Taylor on his career. I opened up Instagram just before starting this video, and the first thing that popped up was his statement saying that he was retiring because of an eye issue. I think he's getting out at the right time. He achieved the ultimate in the sport. He became undisputed at 140. After that, to be honest, it was downhill. Why stick around to take further damage? He's not the same as he was when he was. Hell, I had him in my top 3 pound for pound. When he became undisputed. I didn't think, I didn't think the fight with Ramirez would be close, and it wasn't in my eyes. So salute to Josh Taylor, man. On having a legendary career. Very few can say they were undisputed world champion. All right. Now, guys, let me talk about the 3 big fights that I commented on last week that I bet on. First off, let me start with Barrios and Pacquiao. Now, truth be told, I had Barrios winning, and I didn't think it was close. I had a few even rounds, so my card came out to 118-112. Now, if you give Manny the even rounds, the card, would not be that close. That would not be that wide, excuse me. But, I had a few rounds that was too close to call. Guys, I was tempted to and wanted to do a post-fight right after the fight, but I was too upset to do so, and I'm glad I didn't. So I have been able to calm down a bit. But even though I had Barrios winning the fight, even though I had him winning wide, I was upset and disappointed with his performance, because he could have done more. When it comes to betting, there's few things that upset me more than to place a sizable wager on somebody, and then that person does not try, does not give their all, does not give their best effort. I can accept a loss when a guy goes all out, when the guy tries. For example, I think it was Jared Gonzalez a few weeks ago. It was a co-main event on that Catterall Eubank card. Nobody had heard of the guy. He was a big underdog. He was fighting a former world champion, somebody that he hadn't, had not fought on that level before. And the guy tried. The guy put a great effort, even though he lost. And it really wasn't close. At least I can accept a loss like that. But when a guy doesn't give his all, man, it just, it bothers me. And that was the thing about Barrios, man. He's hit or miss. The reason that I went heavy on the money line play with him instead of the knockout was that I didn't trust him to get the knockout. He knocked down Usyk multiple times, but did he put the foot on the gas to go for a stoppage? No, he didn't. And he has not had a stoppage in a few years, even though he has a good punch. Guys, while it officially was a draw, unofficially this was a loss for him, and it was a win for Pacquiao, even though Pacquiao didn't outbox the guy. The fact that Pacquiao was out for 4 years, was 46 and a half, had been out long enough to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You 30, you in your prime, you should not let somebody in their mid-40s go a full 36 minutes with you to officially get a draw with you. That fight should not be competitive. It should not be close. If Brian Norman Jr. was fighting Manny Pacquiao, do you guys think this shit would have been a full 36 minutes? No, it would not have. Brian Norman would have knocked him out within 6 rounds. Guys, Manny Pacquiao tired in 4 rounds, just like I predicted he would have, or he would. In the 3rd round, I could see the heavy breathing start. The 4th round, I say, midway through for sure, he became more stationary. He was not as aggressive as he had been. He clearly dipped off, dropped off on the gas tank. And Barrios did not, at no point in this fight did I say, man, Barrios is going for the knockout. He's putting the foot on the gas. He's throwing, combinations. He's letting his hands go. He's throwing flurries. He's trying to hurt Pacquiao. He's trying to drop Pacquiao. At what point can we say that, guys? We can't. To me, watching this fight, it seemed like he looked at Manny Pacquiao and said, you know what? I respect this guy. He's a legend. He's a role model. I looked up to this guy. I'm going to have a gentleman's sparring match, a gentleman's fight with this guy. I'm just going to try my best to outbox him. And if I outbox him, great, I'll retain my title. If I don't, no big deal. That's the way I view Barrios fighting Manny Pacquiao. Bob Santos was telling him to not respect Pacquiao, to stop touching gloves with Pacquiao. His corner was telling him that Pacquiao was tired. He didn't take advantage of it. He had an old man in front of him, and he was content going a full 12, having a boxing match with Manny Pacquiao, man. Manny Pacquiao was whining and crying like a little bitch about getting hit to the stomach. There were clear legal shots, just like he did in the Usyk fight. He did it several times in this fight. And what did Barrios do? Every time he would respect Pacquiao. He would back up, stop punching, let Manny whine and complain, give him a chance to recover. And I'm jumping up screaming, what are you doing? Why is he doing this? Go after this guy. He up there, like he the referee dictating, controlling the fight and what can happen and all this and that. And Taylor, to his credit, told Pacquiao numerous times, no, that was good. That was a good legal shot. I think only one time he stopped Barrios and said, that shot might have went a little low. Outside of that, all that shit was legal, man. And Barrios should have been following up. He should have been going after Pacquiao. Every time he stepped back to complain, he should have charged Pacquiao and went at the body some more. He definitely could have stopped Pacquiao to the body. The announcer said that Barrios could have won the fight simply off a jab, and I completely agreed. I saw what they were seeing. He could not stop Usyk's jab 4 years ago. He had problems with the Japanese kickboxers' jab last year. The reflexes had dipped. The announcers were saying in this fight that Barrios should have been more aggressive. He should have thrown, had more volume. I agree with all this shit, man. Abner Mares was saying it. I agree 1,000%. And Barrios, he made it possible to where he could have lost his title by decision, man. I was expecting him to not get the decision, because Pacquiao was the legend that was coming back, and he had put on this performance at 46.5. I thought he was gonna lose, man, but he lucked out, and I lucked out to get a draw. I played the fight on ESPN Bet. It was a two-way bet, so that fight was a push, and I did make a $600 profit off Usyk, getting the stoppage against Dubois. Again, guys, when you do these bets, make sure it is a two-way bet and not a three-way bet, because if it's a three-way bet, you will lose your money on a draw, and you can tell it's a three-way bet because it's going to have the draw right there in between or beside the money line plays. All right. That's how it is on BetMGM. You have to go into fight result to just get the two-way bet. Now you're going to get slightly worse odds. They tempt you with slightly better odds, a lot of times better than most sports books on a three-way bet at BetMGM, but no, that's not the way to go. Unless it's a fight that you think has absolutely no chance at being a draw and you want to take the better odds, then yes, and I would understand that situation. But 9 times out of 10, I'm doing a two-way bet in case the shit happens, and I did not lose my money. I was able to make a profit. All right. But Barrios could have done better. He made all the haters and the critics right, saying that he was the weakest of the champions and he was beatable and hittable and all that. He made them right, man. I will never put money on Barrios again. I will not, man. I doubt I ever bet a Barrios fight again. I will not touch it. If they have the rematch, I'm really not interested in the rematch, man. He got Manny Pacquiao thinking that he can continue and compete with, keep competing in boxing. And get him in there with a real one that will not show respect and one of these young guns, and he will find out quick. I got Brian Norman knocking him out within 6 rounds. I doubt that fight would happen, but that's how I would see that playing out. Brian Norman would not show him mercy. All right. So I was disappointed at Barrios, even though I had him winning the fight, because he should put it on Pacquiao, man. He should have left no doubt. All right. Now quickly on to Fundora and Tszyu. Congrats to Fundora. I cannot give a detailed breakdown of the fight. Truth be told, I was out eating as the fight was going on, so I missed it. I was just getting updates and I saw the highlights. But it's a shame that I did not profit off this fight. I had it in the parlay with Barrios to get the knockout. And I simply played that because the odds had gotten so good. When the odds were first released, Barrios was a -750 on the money line at FanDuel, and he was a -125 to get a stoppage. Shit, on the money line, he went all the way down to like a -250, and plus 145 was the highest on the knockout at Caesars. But of course, he didn't get the knockout. You can't trust him to get a stoppage or put the foot on the gas. Clearly, all right. But damn, I wish I would have parlayed that Fundora money line with the Usyk Dubois fight not going the distance. Hell, shit, I was more confident in Barrios winning, just simply winning the fight, than anything. And he didn't put out the effort. But Fundora, man, Tszyu, I don't know what Tszyu gonna do from here. Clearly has chin issues. He got dropped by Gachet first, and then he's been dropped in other fights since, multiple times by Bakram. Took a lot of damage, and man, he may not be the same, man. I don't know what he will do from here. Could not go the distance against Fundora. I will give him credit. He was coming forward, letting his hands go. He did land several shots on Fundora, and Fundora ate that shit like a champ and kept going, man. So Tszyu did try, but Fundora, again, he was too much to overcome. That height and that reach, man. I don't get why they had Tszyu the favorite in this fight. Coming off that Bakram fight and the first fight they had, didn't make sense to me, guys. So Fundora came through, and finally to Usyk and Dubois. Congrats to Usyk, man. He's talking about continuing. Good luck to him if he does. With another great performance, man. Dubois had to plant those feet to land those power shots, and Usyk would not be there for him. It's like you could see it coming from a mile away. He had to come forward. He had to plant those feet, deliver that power, and Usyk was out of there, man. He was hard to hit. Dubois, man, you could see him sweating a lot. I sense he was getting, fatigued mentally, physically. He was not letting his hands go, a lot like I thought he would. He was talking about chaos. I didn't see chaos. He was trying to box with the boxer. He only landed one great body shot, in the fight, to me. And when he did, Usyk looked at him and smiled, all right? I think he should have went to the body more. He should let his hands go more. Why wait? You got this guy in the ring again. I'm not saying empty the gas tank in the first, 2-3 rounds, but he could have let his hands go more than he did, all right? What's next for Usyk? I don't know. In my opinion, the biggest and best challenge out there for him is Pacquiao. I don't know if that fight would ever happen, but that's the guy that I give the best chance to beat Usyk. I think Pacquiao is special. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. So really, I think that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys made money. I don't know what's coming up next, besides the Moses Otama Dillian White fight. I don't know what the next play is, or the next great play is outside of that. If something comes up, I will come on and let you guys know. But until then, you know, you guys take care. I hope you guys make money if you place any wagers. Let me know what you guys thought about the fights and your bets. And thanks for watching.